things to catch up on. Because it's been a really long time since I've been on tour. And to say that a lot has happened is really an understatement, but I'm just gonna pick a few things that seem relevant to the topic at hand. So we've added 4 new members to the family. Their names are Lover, Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights. And I also decided to re-record my first 6 albums, which you've been fantastic. Been just the best, and I missed you so much. And I can't even go into how much I missed you because there's no way to verbalize it. I just did so very much, and I'm so happy to see you. I'm really, really, really overwhelmed and trying to keep it together all night. And we're currently in the middle of the Evermore album. Which is an album I absolutely love, despite what some of you say on TikTok. I've seen it. I've seen all of it. And ever since this particular song was born off of the Evermore album, I've wondered what it might be like to, scream sing it with you. I'm gonna ask you a question for which there is no wrong answer. There are only right answers to this question. So don't read into it at all. Was anyone here last night too? Welcome back. I'm so excited that after like a 3.5 hour show or something, you're still like, yeah, I'll sign up for more. Is anyone here for the first time on the Eras Tour? We got a great little family of people who saw the show last night here in the stadium and people who saw the clips of it on the internet. And people who are here putting in tons of effort to get to a concert like this. I know a lot of people probably traveled to get here, didn't travel. I love you so much for doing that. I really feel like looking out into this concert crowd, this is one of those situations where like there's exciting stuff probably happening on the stage, but there's equally exciting stuff happening out in the crowd. You guys really, really did not play. You were like, we're not just going to this concert, we're like making a whole event of it. I love that. It's a chaos of my own creation because you know me and you know I love that. So thank you. So as we travel through these eras, I'm just gonna assume that you might know which ones they are, but I'll just go ahead and tell you this one that we're in right now is the Evermore era. And I love to keep up with you guys online because you're really funny. You have a really good sense of humor, and sometimes you like to tease me about things, and the really hilarious thing that you were on for a while was saying, Taylor hates Evermore. What is your evidence? I would like to see your evidence. And you guys were like, she did not wish Evermore a happy birthday on social media. It's like, I don't even wish people happy birthday on social media. But I'm here to dispel the rumors and prove wrong the allegations that I hate Evermore, because I actually love that album and I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy that you like it too. And so I would be delighted and honored if you would join me in singing Champagne Problems. So, is it just me, or do we have a whole lot to catch up on? I feel like there's a lot we have to catch up on. Maybe I'll start with the big things. We added 4 new members to our musical family, and their names are Lover, Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights. And also, I basically decided to re-record my first 6 albums. You guys have been absolutely, unthinkably supportive about. Like, I never imagined that you guys would do what you've done with the re-records. It's crazy. And the 2 that I've put out so far are called Fearless, my version, and Red, also my version. We are currently enmeshed in the glorious, wild, whimsical world of Evermore. And ever since we wrote this song that I'm about to play for you, I've been fantasizing about what it would be like to sing it with you in a stadium of 60,000 gorgeous, excitable, supportive people. So I'm gonna do it now. This is Champagne Problems. Some big humor. It's like, oh, what's been going on the last 5 years? A lot of things. And if we try to cover it all, we'll just be here for even more than 3 hours and however long this show is. But basically, I think just catching you up with the important things in my life is that I've added 4 beautiful new members to our musical family. 4 new eras, some would say. Their names are Lover, Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights. And on top of that, at a certain point I decided I was going to re-record my entire first 6 albums. Which you have been miraculously supportive of, by the way. Like, no one really thought that was going to work. But you guys were like, no, it's working. We're going to make this work. This is happening. And right now, I am sitting here playing this moss-covered piano, and we're in the middle of the wild and whimsical world of Evermore. And I just remember, making both Folklore and Evermore, that was not a process that was anything like what I was used to. It wasn't going to studios. I was doing these things really remotely. and I wasn't even thinking about the potential of performing them live. It wasn't even like, oh, I was like, well, I wonder if we're ever gonna perform live again. Like, what are we gonna do? So when I was writing Folklore and Evermore, the first song where I started to have little fantasies about performing live again, like I allowed myself to dare to have the dream, the little flicker of a dream, that I would be able to sing a song with you in sort of a situation like this. The first time I dreamed of that was after we wrote Champagne Problems. Let's hit the headlines. We have welcomed 4 new members to our musical family. And their names are Lover, Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights. And, you know, I did a thing where I decided to re-record all of my first 6 albums. And you know, that was something I wanted to specifically thank you for, because no one thought that was going to work or be a cool thing or a good idea, and you guys were like, no, it's a good idea, we're going to get behind this. Which is just a testament to your generosity, you know, towards me as an artist. It makes me feel like, oh, I'm getting sentimental. It makes me feel like we have something more going on here because of how long we've all been hanging out and singing in rooms together and dancing in rooms together. It's like that's, I don't know, it's just it's a crazy huge thing for you as a group to say, no, I know we fell in love with these old recordings, but the ones that you say are yours, those are ours. Those are the ones we came to. So thank you for that. Right now, though, I don't want to get off track because we are in the middle of an era and an album called Evermore, which I'm so proud of. And Evermore was one of the pandemic albums that I made. And I remember when I was writing it, I just kind of thought, I may never play this live. I may never get to play this live. We didn't know what was going to happen. You remember, you were there. But there was one song on the album that I thought, man, it would be such a shame if I don't get to play this live and sing it with a bunch of people. This is called Champagne Problems. Feels like we have a lot to catch up on. Am I the only one who feels that way? Or do you feel that way too? So, what's been going on with us? You know, from my side of things, we've added 4 new musical members of the family. Yep, they're really cute. They're doing great. Our eldest of the 4 new ones is named Lover. And then we have our very, very, you know, imaginative, sort of quieter one. We have, you know, Folklore. Folklore's younger sister, Evermore. She's wild. She's pretty eclectic. And then the baby, the youngest, Midnights, is wild. Oh, how long can I keep this bit going? Another thing that happened is that I decided to re-record my first 6 albums. let me tell you, that was a thing that a lot of people were like, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Watch her do that and watch that not work. But I had a feeling that you guys might back me up on it, and you did. So thank you forever for that. The ones that I've put out so far are Fearless, my version, and Red, my version. Thank you. But now we are embedded in the wild and whimsical world of Evermore. And I know that it's common belief that the thing that everybody remembers is the chorus, and I know the hook is apparently important. With that bridge, when you can get to that bridge and make the bridge go like, just, and that's my favorite moment to sing with a crowd. And so when I wrote this one, I've always been like, I really can't wait to sing that bridge with the crowd. So here we go. This is called Champagne Problems. Because you know, like, I'm 33, so in pop star years, that's 174. And just there are shows when pretty much every show on this tour, there will be a moment where I'll just think about that, and I'll think about how cool it is that I don't know if there are any people here at the show tonight who have seen me in concert before and cared about my music for a really long time. Well, thanks for that. You have no idea how much it means to me, and I feel like I'm really, at this point in my life, able to really feel all of it in the moment that it's happening. And, you know, there was a time when I was writing the Evermore album, which is the era that we're currently in. And I was writing this album, and it was my second pandemic album, as they would say. And so at that point, I was writing songs not knowing if I'd ever get to play them and have you sing them back to me, which was a really surreal feeling, and it would hit me on songs like the one I'm about to play that I really wanted to be able to do shows again so that I could sing songs like this with you. This is called Champagne Problem. Just my lucky number, right? It's like a number that has defined all kinds of lucky things for me, but tonight it is actually also the exact number of brain cells that I have, because earlier I told you that Gracie Abrams opened the show. That is not correct. That is absolutely not correct. Gail opened the show and she was phenomenal. And I feel so awful that I'm gonna get both Gracie and Gail, and also Biba Doobie, because she had to bear witness to this in some proximity, lots of presents, because I feel terrible, and I love Gail, and she's a fellow Nashville girl, and she's such a legit singer-songwriter. Can we please give it up for Gail? I'm so sorry, Gail, I love you. So we have a lot to catch up on, don't we? And I only have my piano and one in-ear. Yeah, so, you know, I've played in Tampa so many times, and it's been absolutely incredible. This is why we keep coming back, to be honest, right? Sorry, one second. I think something got unplugged. Sorry. It's that kind of day. Do you know what I mean? Just really want to be able to hear what's happening.
maybe somebody could come out and we could just pretend it's not happening, and they could just make sure that my pack is plugged in. I got so carried away with all the sorcery. I'm sorry. It's Can I? Yeah. Yep. Fixed it. Thank you, Camila. Yeah! So, since I last saw you, lots has happened in the world, lots has happened in my musical world. I've actually added 4 new members to our musical families, and their names are Lover, Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights. And on top of that, I decided to make the very cute but chaotic decision to re-record all of my 6 first albums. Genuinely, none of that would have worked out. None of it would have been possible if you hadn't had my back and backed me up on it and been like, yeah, we like that idea. So thank you guys. And the ones that we've put out so far are Fearless, my version, and Red, my version. And right now we are currently enmeshed and ensconced in the Evermore era, an album that I'm so proud of, and I've been waiting so long to play for you and sing with you. And one of the songs that when I wrote it, I just thought, like, I really, really hope I get to perform this in front of a beautiful, glorious, generous crowd someday. One of the songs where I felt that was called Champagne Problems.
Entire universe of stage. Like, this is like, we've got little, we've got tunnels, we've got all kinds of, you don't even want to know what we have underneath and behind the stage, but we're always passing each other, like all the dancers and band and crew, and we're all just like, you give each other like a little bit of a vibe for what tonight is, and we're all just like, oh my god, tonight, they're, oh, okay. It's like, it's so fast, because we're running past each other to get to where we have to go next, but like, we're just like, tonight! Yeah, so basically, you guys have passed the vibe check, and flying colors. We've had so much fun in Tampa playing in this stadium. There have been so many crazy, hilarious things that have occurred. I was thinking today about, I played here once on Halloween. And it was, it was basically like, I was like, everybody's dressed in Halloween costumes and everything. So I remember I brought out, Idina Menzel to sing Let It Go from Frozen. And she dressed up like Elsa, and I dressed up like Olaf, which was, honestly, what a look. So I was thinking about that. I was reminiscing about how much fun that was, and how, I don't know, you guys are just so committed. I've been looking at you guys. It looks honestly like it is sort of Halloween tonight with all the effort you put into how you showed up tonight. It's so cool. Right now, a little update for where we are in our eras. As you can tell by my moss-covered piano, we are ensconced in the Evermore era. Basically, the Evermore album was something that I wrote in the pandemic. It was my second pandemic album, and so you remember how that was. Like, nobody knew if there was going to be touring. We didn't know when we were going to play shows or when we were going to get to see you again. And so I kind of had to just sit with that and just have little daydreams every once in a while that one day I might get to sing Champagne Problems with you. This is the last amount of fun that I get to soak up with this crowd, and I'm gonna really experience every single bit of it. I'm really I'm really loving this tour. It's like become my entire personality, and I've always loved putting on shows. I've always loved that connection. I've always really thrived with the feeling of knowing that these feelings that I had when I was, in a private moment and writing a song, knowing that you guys have felt the same way is just the most comforting feeling in the world for me. It's like a big, massive hug from 70,000 people. And this tour is so great. Like everything about it is just so exciting for me. Like we have amazing opening acts on this tour, and I just love to show some love to them. First off, you guys saw an amazing artist named Gracie Abrams. Give it up for Gracie. It's like my favorite musicians are like on tour with us. It's so exciting. And then you got to see Biba Doobie. Give it up for Biba Doobie again. So we are currently in the middle of the Evermore era. The Evermore era. So when I was writing Evermore, it was the second album that I made in the pandemic, and it was still, during a period of time when we didn't know what the future of live music was. It was all very up in the air, and so I was just making music, trying not to think about those really scary questions, because I do need you guys very much for my well-being. And so I would try not to think about how scary that was, the idea that we didn't know when I was gonna get to hang out with you again like this. And no, we're good. But there was one song that when I wrote it, I was just like so obsessed with the idea of playing it in a stadium with you and hearing you sing it with me. So let's sing Champagne Problem. Fully ensconced in the Evermore era. One thing that's a fun fact about this tour is that it is my favorite tour that I have ever done by 1,000,000,000%. It's an official number. It's like the way that you got excited about this tour when I announced it really. Obviously, I've been planning it for over a year before we announced it, but the way that you got excited about it, I was so excited that you loved the concept of just doing all these eras and going through all these different albums and time traveling musically. And so your enthusiasm for this tour has really made it my favorite tour that I've ever been a part of. Ever. And we also have, I'm not trying to brag, but we have like amazing opening acts on this tour, don't we? Yeah. We started off the evening with the incredible Gracie Abrams. Will you please give it up for Gracie again? And then you got to see the extraordinary Biba Doobie. Give it up for Biba Doobie again! Yeah, we're having fun on this tour. And it's been a while since I've toured. It's been a very, very long time. Because, the world changed overnight, and there were 2 albums that I made in the pandemic. And, you remember everybody was sort of saying, we don't know if there's ever going to be live music again in the way that we all knew to love it. And it was really a complicated thing for me to process, and because I love you and I love seeing you. That's a song that I wrote about my grandmother Marjorie, who passed away when I was 13. And
and she lived in Houston, Texas. That was her home. This is like, this is a place my mom has always talked about, because she moved here when she was like in middle school, and they traveled the world until then, but from then on it was Houston, and that was her home. That's where she went to high school, it's where she went to college. And so, when we're driving to the stadium, she's like pointing out things from her childhood. And so singing that song with you in this stadium, in this way, looking out and seeing you guys all connecting to it in your own ways, just really, it does something to my heart. Houston, Texas. Subject change. What's been going on? We toured here last several years ago. It was 4 or 5 years ago. So what's been going on since then? Not that much. Not that much has happened, right? It's been kind of really even keel for everybody. Like, what's been going on? Oh, I did put out 4 brand new albums. Their names are Lover, Folklore, Evermore, Midnights, and we are currently in the middle of the Evermore era. And that album was an album that I made when we were in the pandemic, and the conversation about live music was a big question mark. Everyone was sort of wondering, will it ever bounce back? Will we ever be able to be together in a room in the way that we knew and loved? And so I had to sort of put that out of my mind, because some things are too sad. And so I just didn't think about it. I just made music, and I focused on connecting with you in the only way that I could at that point. But there was one song that when I wrote it, I really, 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 really wanted to play it for you live, and wanted to be in a stadium singing Champagne Problems with you. So let's do it. By the songs we're playing, and also by the moss-covered piano. We are currently in the Evermore era. The song I just played, that song is called Marjorie, and singing it with you is really, really special, because it's a song I wrote about my grandmother who passed away when I was 13 years old. And you know how there's always like somebody in the family that everybody says you take after, like that's her for me. And she was an opera singer, and so we actually play her voice during that song. And so I got to sing it not only with you here in Houston, where she lived and where my mom is from, but in a way she got to sing it with you too, which makes me just feel all kinds of things. Gotta change the subject. So coming and playing with you and singing these songs is crazy in a lot of ways, because there was a huge period of time when nobody really knew what the future was for live music, for me getting to be with you and us getting to dance together and have this like incredible moment that we're having. Like, there was a while when that was kind of up in the air, and everybody was sort of saying during the pandemic, we don't know if music and live music is gonna ever be the way that it was. So that was kind of the conversation that was happening in the industry when I was making the Folklore album and the Evermore album. And I would put it out of my head. I just block it out. I just think, oh no, someday we'll figure something out, right? I'll get
I'll get to be with them again in the same room, and I'm just, God, I'm overjoyed that that's the case. I'm so happy to be with you. You have no idea. And there was one song in particular that I always really hoped that we'd get to sing together. So will you please put your all into singing Champagne Problems with me?